Jennifer, the Chief Executive Officer at Vault DeFi. I'm dedicated to the development of blockchain integrations that allow me to build and innovate new and resourceful ways to create passive income for our investors. I really want to thank all of you here today for allowing me to share in my passion of fintech and the revolution that is currently taking place globally. The world is changing, inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, to share, to learn, and really to bring people with like minds together. Even me today, all the way from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I've been able to come from a digital stream as we have such stringent international travel restrictions due to the COVID situation that it stopped my ability to even be there today in person. We are learning from others, we are finding the best in ourselves, but most importantly, we're challenging our beliefs and overcoming our fears. We're transforming ourselves really so that we can help transform the world together. Getting to speak to all of you today is a key part in the success of the mass adoption of digital assets. And I'm so happy to be able to be here today so that I know I'm contributing to the betterment of financial resources for all globally. Today, I hope to engage you into why the adoption of digital assets is imminent and hopefully spark an interest to you in wanting to be a part of it, wanting to become your own bank, wanting to use decentralized finance and the many services and products being developed to make your goals of financial freedom possible for you and for your generations to come. Let's start with Bitcoin. The destiny of money is to be encrypted. We have now created something new, this Bitcoin, a man-made money. And with Bitcoin, no man can corrupt it. No man can bend it. It's developed with rules that we ourselves cannot break. If I create, say, rules to a board game like Monopoly, I'm pretty sure you're going to lose, basically every single time. That's exactly what central banks are. They're the rule makers in the world of money. So how do we tell people what is Bitcoin? How do we tell our parents? How do we tell our grandparents? How do we tell people on the streets or on your campus here today with you? It becomes rather difficult, but I hope to give you a bit of the tools necessary to be able to do so. I would start with simply telling them that Bitcoin is an insurance policy on the central bank or fiat currency. The more dollars that the central banks produce, the more valuable the policy becomes. With Bitcoin, we have never, ever have to worry about it being inflated. It is the first fixed supply asset in human history. Let that sink in. It is the first ever fixed supply asset in human history. Bitcoin is auditable. It's unchangeable and has a supply of exactly 21 million. This is finite and it will never increase. By creating Bitcoin, we have essentially created a living money. This money adapts to our actions. When we try to mine more of it, it becomes harder to mine. If we try to mine less of it, it becomes even easier to mine. Financial freedom, to me, means that I can have my own money and not have someone take it away from me, tax it, or inflate it. I want to use the technology being innovated that allows me to hold my bank, my investments, my future wealth in my own hands using smartphone technology and applications or decentralized applications like the ones that you're going to see here today with Useless Crypto and myself at Vault DeFi. Productivity creates wealth. Taxation reduces productivity. Inflation is taxation. And Bitcoin is the only money in human history with a zero terminal inflation rate. And I'll just say that again. It has the only human history-based value system with zero terminal inflation rate. It's rather interesting. It has a finite supply as well as zero terminal inflation rate, meaning its value is stored without the corruption or the manipulation of either market or human behavior. If you prefer abundance to poverty, then truthfully at some point you will be buying Bitcoins or Satoshis, which are the fragments of Bitcoins or the decimal places that you can go down to because Bitcoin's value is expanding. It will always have fractional available assets to be purchased, which are called Satoshis. Now, as a true believer in decentralized finance, I would also argue that if you are interested in having a life of abundance or have one with financial freedom and the security of knowing that you have made a good decision for yourself and the lives of the people you care about, then decentralized finance is essentially going to be the most important part of this financial revolution, potentially the most important part of what you choose to invest in over the next few years of your lives here. So maybe we should start with, what is DeFi? Decentralized finance, and why is it so important? DeFi is short for decentralized finance. It's really just an umbrella term for a variety of financial applications in the cryptocurrency or blockchain geared toward disrupting financial intermediaries. DeFi really just draws inspiration from blockchain, the technology behind the currency of Bitcoin, which allows several identities to hold a copy of history of transactions. I guess the easiest way to explain it would be it's the meaning controlled by a single central source. It's important because centralized systems and human gatekeepers can limit the speed and sophistication of transactions while offering users less control over their money, which is why DeFi has established itself a real specific spot here in the revolution. It's imperative that we have a decentralized way of managing finance and the ability to remove the middleman that you'll hear us all talking about at points now that you're engaging in what digital assets can be for yourself as an individual and an investor, hopefully in the future. Bitcoin, like I was speaking about before, and many other digital native assets stand out from legacy digital payment methods. We call Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, things like that, really legacy-driven digital payment methods. What they are absolutely inclusive of the middleman. Bitcoin and what many of the currencies related to or tokens related to DeFi do is absolutely remove the middleman from transactions. So for example, when you pay with a credit card for a coffee at a cafe, a financial institution globally sits between you and that business, and they have control over the transaction, retaining the authority to stop or pause it. They can record it in its own personal private ledger, and these are all things that are done from the middleman perspective without you as the consumer or the owner of the money in control. However, with Bitcoin or decentralized finance products, those institutions are completely cut out of the picture. I also think it's important or imperative to add that these direct purchases aren't the only type of transaction or contract overseen by big companies. Financial applications that we use on a much more regular basis are things similar to like loans or insurance, crowdfunding, derivatives. These are all things that we would have much more in our control by allowing us to remove the middleman, and allows all kinds of transactions as one of the main primary advantages of utilizing decentralized finance. Before it was known as decentralized finance, I should also mention that it was often called open finance. So if you find yourself discussing anything that we've presented here today to different generations that have come before us, I would just utilize that term when explaining things. So when we're talking about Bitcoin as this new digital asset or potentially the store of value, DeFi or decentralized finance was always often called open finance. Maybe I can talk a little bit about what I do as CEO of Vault DeFi and what Vault DeFi hopes to do. We're really proud to bring kind of an unprecedented vision to the DeFi space. We had an intention to provide a product that allows for passive growth opportunities to basically people who were previously denied. Typically, we don't get to go to the back room or the vault in a bank. Those are generally held for people of wealth, of stature, potentially people who have already worked through the generational wealth system. However, at Vault DeFi, we always felt like that really is where we'd like to open it up to everybody. Everybody should have the ability to have an asset and potentially have that asset make more money and then that money make more money. So how do we do that? We had to figure out methods and specific types of mathematical equations that would work. And we were able to come up with Vault DeFi, the idea of being able to utilize many cryptocurrencies. So in our case, we utilize 3 unique tokens to provide the investor with not only the ability to compound, the ability to deflate, as well as the ability to have flexible choice in the dividend that they choose to be rewarded in. I'll discuss a little bit more about that in the future. The vision here at Vault DeFi was always that we would have this passion for decentralized finance, that it would be fueled by the desire to kind of educate and bring awareness to the untapped possibilities that can be offered within a DeFi platform. For Vault DeFi, we've always been aiming to kind of solve the problem which prior cryptocurrencies have had, which is, directly related to mining the rewards, farming rewards, and high stake yield options. We were thinking what we would maybe do is propose in allowing investors to participate in more of a smart contract token reflection that allows people to produce tokens inside their own wallet without having to necessarily loan out or stake their tokens for payment. An easier option, allowing more flexibility to many people to just become their own bank in a simplified manner. We also believe that offering more than one dividend option, in addition to the ability to choose your own dividends based on the approved smart contract collaborations we have with other Binance Smart Chain projects, enhances the flexibility of investors' digital asset portfolio development. Not to mention that we have a collaboration with the future of wrapped commodities, Xsurge DeFi. I will speak more about that collaboration in the few moments coming ahead, but I'd just like to make mention that to anybody here who is interested in learning more about Xsurge, you should absolutely go to their website. It's xsurge.net. to learn more about this amazing company that is providing a wrapped commodity option that protects from market volatility, as well as produces you an expanded appreciation upon many of the underlying assets that they offer. In layman's terms, they help you create a larger amount of passive income in a quicker fashion. So back to Vault, we have developed a simplistic way for our investors to purchase an asset that rewards them with daily dividends in the centralized market assets. This just means that our investors can start getting paid on returns immediately after a Vault investment with enhanced compounding and hyper-deflationary centralized market cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin. We offer a wrapped Bitcoin. It's called SBTC, which is the Surge Wrapped Bitcoin Dividend. When you invest in a Vault token, you are essentially opening up the doors to flexible commodity solutions, and they've all been designed to assist the investors in creating mature digital asset investment portfolios that can be individually curated to the specific needs for either short-term or what I would prefer to say, which is long-term capital gain and larger daily dividend rewards. It was always designed, or Vault was always designed to try and essentially educate people to being a part of this type of a revolution is really understanding that having a hold on the underlying asset for an extended period of time, and that might just be 2 to 5 years when we're talking about the length of time for long-term gains. But as the new fintech revolution is rolling out, it will take a handful of years. It could be anywhere between 5 and 8 full years for the entire world to adopt this at a level where the ledgers are being used 24 hours a day. If that's the case, then purchasing into an asset like Vault or an asset like Useless, it will always benefit you for the long-term hold. There'll always be money to be made in the short term, and there's many people throughout the investor communities that will teach you how to do day trading or how to do arbitrage trading and things that allow for small gains to be made over the course of 24 hours in a day. But for most investors, the set it and forget it mentality will be the best way to look at any type of digital asset that you're utilizing, whether that's in decentralized finance or in the centralized markets like Bitcoin. If I was to talk just briefly about the architecture of Vault, it really allows our investors to immediately gain access to the use of a stable token. A stable token is a pairing 1-to-1 against the American dollar. In the case of what we reflect or what we allow our investors to be paid in, it's called BUSD, which is for the Binance Smart Chain or the BSC network or blockchain. They have a native token, which is the token that you must use as the underlying asset. We reward our investors in that token, that stable token, and that allows them to have flexibility, 1, to either reinvest, 2, to save, or 3, to compound on, to keep it there, to use it long term, knowing that it is hedged from market volatility. It's a 1-to-1 pairing of the American dollar, and it's really a stable place for you to keep your money if you are concerned that the market is going to have a good or a bad day. We also offer a double compounding reward, which is a Vault LP reward, where it allows the investor to be paid in the Vault tokens directly. This gives you a larger market share in the tokens themselves and allows you to increase your value of those tokens due to the fact that it has a hyperdeflationary aspect built into it. And when I say hyperdeflationary, that specifically means that the total supply of our token is finite and that the token supply is able to be removed from circulation utilizing a burn mechanism. Simply put, we have 3 tokens. One token allows for savings or checkings, comparable to your average bank account. And we advise our investors to utilize them for blockchain gas fees or for reinvestment needs. Our second token is the one that allows you to have dividends in itself, or the previous token. So it creates this what we call a double compounding effect, or the 8th wonder of the world as per Einstein. And then the third token, which we've brought for our lineup, it offers a whole assortment of rewards, all created by Xsurge. And this allows us to give flexibility in many of the centralized market assets while also providing a really strong hedge to the volatility that can happen within the market. As the CEO, I really just feel blessed to have the ability to offer these Xsurge dividends to the Vault investors, as the technology is superior for the wrapped asset architecture of smart contracts. Xsurge is the only 100% LP-backed central market and decentralized market cryptocurrency. It's really not even a token. It's really not even a currency. It's a protocol. And the way that their protocol works allows us as investors to create more wealth and protection for our assets at any given time. Currently today, many of the 12,000 Vault holders or investors choose to be rewarded in wrapped Ethereum, wrapped Bitcoin, or wrapped ADA by Surge. However, I think it's important to note that the majority are now looking to choose useless crypto, who's here as well today, as their crypto provides a very powerful method to balance the LP system, and they have a superior technology in their smart contract development that allows for new and unique processes and mechanisms to be added to the contracts to benefit their investors. This change shows me that people are starting to build their knowledge and are becoming more familiar with the tokens that they want to be adopting. And DeFi seems to be their preferred commodities to invest in, which is really exciting. Freedom to the masses matters to so many people in this space. So understanding your relationship with money matters. It's kind of an unspoken phenomenon, money. Poor people want more money, they work for money, and they work tirelessly to make money. Rich people seem to have this massive benefit that they make their money work for them. So I've come from a position, and I try and teach the position that understanding money, it will essentially make us value choice and flexibility, or the necessity to remove the middleman, the forefront of what we do and how we do it. Passive income is the key to freedom of financial security. Money is a tool that moves value across time and space. Again, Einstein believed it should be called space-time, as they are on the exact same. Money and time are the exact same thing. To me, money is a contract with the future, with a marketplace for time itself. Essentially, if you engage in some method to trade your labor for money, then you are essentially doing what? You're taking money that you made and you're going to now trade it or redeem it for another thing or another service. For example, I made X amount of dollars today. I'm now going to go to a restaurant and I'm going to pay my waitress for the food and the drink that I had, or I'm going to go out and buy a car. So in this big global economic space, we are essentially trading favors for one another. We exchange our time, our effort, our energy for this token that we will hold as value over time so that we can trade it for needs in the future. When we can trade, we are always going to be better off, as we are matching our wants for our needs and not allowing people or the third party or the middleman to push what our wants and needs are on us, essentially creating debt and a FOMO effect for many items of consumption that are most likely unnecessary in your daily needs. As I'm sure all of you can hear today, I would love to spend hours talking about this with all of you. I feel that it's imperative at your time and place, at your age, at your ability to make really fundamental choices that can affect the long term of your life. As a person who took my schooling very seriously, my university studies seriously, I always felt overwhelmed coming through the main lobby of my school when there were many financial institutions in the beginning months of the year asking me to take on credits and take on debt, and that I would need this or that. And of course I did, as most of you probably did here today, is I signed up for them and I used them. And I'll never forget the first night that I decided I would go out and I would buy drinks for all of my friends on my card. And of course, when my card came, my bill came at the end of the month, I remember the exact amount. It was $492. And I remembered thinking to myself, like, I don't have $492 to pay this. And what have I done? And why did I do that? And essentially, you do it because that's what we do. That's what everybody does. But the truth is that your generation is going to have a lot of other options available to you. And you might not necessarily require to carry such huge amounts of debt. And I really hope that today, between myself and the other speakers here, that we're at the very least kind of giving you the spark to do your own research, to look into what digital assets are, to look into how simple it actually is to download an application onto a smartphone, for a digital wallet to be something that you use on a regular basis, to be able to track the market, the gains, the declines, what's affecting it. Is it geopolitical? Is it something that I need to be paying attention to? Is it related to this changeover in the store of value? Is oil reserves depleting and are gold mining companies, halting maybe what they're doing? All of this information is something that is going to be heavily relatable in your future capability to become wealthy, or even just simply free financially. We have this chance in time right now to take advantage of the fact that institutions are a little bit behind the technology, and the technology is available. And being able to be a part of that, and being in school and learning about your technology and learning about security and learning about smart contract development, blockchain, gaming, these are all part of the trifecta, which is essentially data, communication, and finance. And once all three of these come together to fruition, it'll allow an individual the ability to have freedom amongst all three of those things. So, no more middleman, no more control of the outside body, no more worried about your data being utilized for monetization, no more concern about being maybe forcefully shown or programmed things that you maybe didn't need yesterday, but after you've seen something today, you feel like you are in dire need of that consumption item. I hope today, at the very least, that the discussion we're having here opens up many of your eyes to the ability of choice, that there are things coming and there is technology being developed to give all of you choices at a better start, choices at a better future, choices at a better longevity, financially speaking, as well as just on a human level of knowing that you have more control over some of the things that matter most, which of course is going to be you, time, place, family, your loved ones, and to be able to do that at an early age without feeling the overwhelming effect of society, of government, of institutions, will only be able to build a confidence in you that my generation and many generations before us had only wished we could have. So I just want to say, really appreciate you giving me the floor today. I really appreciate you allowing me to come here with these wonderful people to share these amazing ideas and this innovation that we're being able to develop for blockchain and for individual benefit. So on behalf of Vault DeFi, I just want to say thank you and have a wonderful day.